Oh, the FOMO for this move on Ethereum, right? Don't worry if you missed it, your family still loves you. It's all good. There's going to be more opportunities. I bet you're probably logging on to social media as well and everyone's made money on it, but you haven't. If that's the case, don't worry. Let's talk about it in this video. Good morning, guys. It is Monday the 25th of August today, which means we're coming to the end of the summer, which means sad times for me in the UK, which means a lot of rain, grey and cold. Great. I'm not going to beat around the bush here, but Ethereum has gone mental, Solana has gone mental, Bitcoin has kind of went a little bit mental and now it's a bit sad again, probably because it knows winter is on the way. It's completely fine if you missed these moves. It is completely normal to be scrolling through social media and getting the FOMO for wanting to be in, but do not press that high leverage button to try and make up for the fact that you didn't get in at the bottom. But maybe if you watched my video last week and tuned into that, you would have caught it. In this video, we're going to look at Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Solana. We're going to do a top-down analysis and a trade plan for the week ahead. We do this every single Monday, so make sure that you hit subscribe and you never miss a video. And then at 6:30 p.m. UK time tonight, we're going to do a live stream just to kind of go over the price action for the day, see what's changed, and then we're going to go into things a little bit more detail for the week ahead. And it's a bit of fun as well. We'll look at some meme coins too. It's a good laugh on there as well. This video is sponsored by What Exchange. It's going to be the platform that you see me charting on in a moment. It's a non-KYC perp dex. They've got a huge airdrop at the beginning of 2026. And if you sign up with my ref link in the description below, I'll give you 50% of all the commissions that I make on your trading volume. That's nice, isn't it? I know you're feeling a little bit of FOMO, a little bit of twitchiness, because everything's ripping. So let's get into the charts, okay? Bitcoin on the daily is retracing after failing to make new highs. So let's just mark out where we can expect it maybe to drop to. So this is a previous high that gets broken. And down here is the decision point, or the extreme of that decision point, where the buying took place to come up and make that new all-time high. And then obviously we have this area here where it gets faked out. And now it's dropping down and it is breaking support where we had that previous run up to the high. Instead of continuing, it is now breaking down. So this is the map that I've got for the lower time frames, and I expect it maybe to drop down to about 106k H4. This is the previous high, and this is the continuation level sitting at the break of that high. So I would expect, based on this, it may well break it. And if it does, I'll be looking again down to here about 106k. And this is a reaction from this previous level. And this is where the buying took place to come and break that previous all-time high. So this is a key level down here. I'm not looking for shorts. I'm still looking for where we can look for reversal points. And I would say that if it does flip this level, puts in some lower highs and lower lows, it could be shorted, and I would target down at about 105k, which is where this continuation level is. Otherwise, I'm not really sure if it's going to bounce here, but if it does, I want to see that usual pattern that I talk about where we have a higher high, higher low, higher high, and then another higher high before pushing up. I'm not really bothered if I miss the exact low at this point. I think we're not really looking bullish again up until we come and break this high. So even if it does need to confirm that a low gets put in, and it may well do that kind of pattern and then push up, or it may well just bounce like that. But I would like to see this level flipped with some higher highs, some higher lows, and then I would look to take a continuation back to the all-time high. But given the state of this overall choppiness, I'm not looking to rush into anything on Bitcoin at the moment. I do think it looks like it's probably going to come down and seek support a little bit lower at this point. And then if it does indeed come down here, this is where I'll look for some ranging, and then I'll look to find some confirmation that a bottom's been put in with some higher highs and some higher lows, and then push up, and then that's when I'll look to get involved. So I'm not personally looking to get involved until we get a lot more price action. So yeah, this isn't really where the action is. That's more on Ethereum. So on the daily, we have this big level that got broken, and then we have the continuation level here, which we spoke about on last week's video, where price faked it and then bounced and then came and hit a new all-time high. And it's bounced just below 5,000, which isn't a great sign at the moment, but considering how bullish this has been, it's bounced just below a very big round number. I do expect it will look to push above it in the coming days, but we'll look at that on H4 now. And we can see this really clean level that price faked out and then bounced off the top of this chain here, which we'll look at on H1. And this was when Powell came out and talked about interest rate cuts. So this was a very weird looking candle, in my opinion, but it shows as a reaction to the news that it's not maybe not authentic, but organic buying, where people are buying the coin for its fundamentals. It's a reaction to the news. So it looks kind of strange, and it hasn't put in any levels really on this time frame, which you would expect. So it may well come down and retrace and come back down to this decision point, which we'll look at on the hourly actually, because H4 there really isn't anything. But we can see this is the level which I talked about last week. It breaks this it breaks this resistance, bounces back down into it, pushes up into supply, bounces off the top of the resistance level, not once, but twice, and then rips to the upside. So if we're looking at recent price action, we have the recent high here that gets broken, and then the range gets formed a little bit like this. There's our overall range. And what we'd want to see is price holding this level, put some higher highs and some higher lows in, and then head back up to the top of the range. And then from this point, you want to see some more sideways action and a continuation like that. So there is a decent opportunity down here if the price action presents it, and we may have to go to M30 to see where there is actually a clean level. So what price does on this move up is continue, retrace, and then this is where the buying took place to push up above that high. So in the same way where I said last week that price may fake this level and bounce into the one below, as it did, it could well do the same here over the course of the day and find some support. So if you're bullish still, as I am, you would like to see it form that pattern which I always talk about, with a high, a low, a higher high, a higher low, and then a higher high, just to confirm that it's not going down. And we're at a range low, so it makes sense to look for longs down here to push up to the range high. So something like that is what I'd be looking for on Ethereum. However, if it does come down and then put a series of lower highs and lower lows in, it may well be that it's going to head back down to where the buying took place to push up this move, and that's at around 4,100, 4,200. Or it could well fake it and then do something like that. I'm not really sure at this point, but that's kind of my overall plan on Ethereum early doors this week, where we look for some sort of ranging at this range low, this higher time frame range low, to take to the range higher. And whether it breaks to the upside further than that, I'm not sure, but you would favor, considering the strength in this coin, that it would indeed go higher for 5,000. It may top out there, I'm not sure, but down here is good levels for continuation. Okay, Solana is a little bit more rangy than what we've seen on Ethereum. So just chasing this back, we have a big support, and the selling took place up here to come and take out that support level, which we're now testing not once, not twice, but 3 times. And on a third time, you would consider, or you would assume, that it's now going to push up a lot higher. So now we just need to find some lower time frame price action to catch that move. And sitting at the edge of this, we have a really nice decision point here. This is the extreme of that level. This is where the buying took place again to come up and take that high. So instead of continuing, it fakes it up here, you can see. And then what I would like to see is it come down in a similar way to what we just talked in Ethereum, come down to this sort of low, and then put in some price action to look for a reversal at the most extreme point of this. But on this time frame, there's not a huge amount of information. This is now looking a little bit cleaner, and you would expect, considering how choppy this is, that it's not exactly just going to go like so. And what I'll be looking for is to come down here and again, just look for that reversal pattern, which I'm talking about and always talk about, and then look to take it higher. And actually on M30, there'll be the end of the chain looks to be somewhere down here at about 189. So if we go down to M15, yeah, we should probably see that there. So it could well come down to that point. That would probably be the lowest point I would expect at about 186. At the end of the chain, supporting all of this price action essentially. But I don't really like to go that low on some of these coins. So I would be looking for the reversal here, but I'd be mindful of the fact that the end of that chain on lower timeframes is down here, and look for the reversal at that kind of 186 level. And considering the way it's sort of rounding off as well, and it's not being too clean, I would expect it maybe to come down a little bit lower first. However, you know, this is crypto. It can just do this. So what I would expect in such a scenario is if we just mark out the high, if it does find support, I would again just look for a continuation pattern at those highs where it ranges and then breaks to the upside, and then you can look to continue that. But again, I think it's more sensible to kind of wait for some sort of low to be put in like that and continue up to the upside from there. But there's no reason, in my opinion, to look bearish at this juncture. I hope you've enjoyed this video, but most importantly, I hope you've learned something, and I hope I've managed to temper some of the FOMO that you're probably experiencing, and you can just kind of relax a little bit into your seat rather than sitting on the edge waiting to click the button to over leverage and lose everything. Probably the worst place to be at the moment when crypto hits new all-time highs is on social media, because yeah, like I said, the FOMO is just insane. But we want to keep things measured. As traders, we want to find logical places to get in, not listen to the emotions to jump in when everything's going green and ripping, okay? Also, we have a live stream at 6:30 p.m. UK time tonight, so if you need a little bit of therapy, join in with that. And we can also look at some other opportunities in meme coins, particularly in altcoins as well, for things that haven't yet ripped. So yeah, that'll be fun. See you then. And while you wait for that live stream, your next video is one of them too. Okay, bye-bye.